guy. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
you
take
know,
my time.
a lot of times you notice these fish, they're feeding on baby flounder. That's when I like to use the white.
Yep.
When there's a lot of spearing and sand eels in the water, we'll use the green. That's a pretty fish right there. We'll use the green.
Here he comes.
Wow, nice fish.
There we go.
That might be a little better.
Oh, that bitch is screaming, Rick.
Wow.
You're watching Northeast Angling. We're proud to present inshore and offshore saltwater fishing. We cover every species from fluke and porgies to stripers, sharks, and tuna. You can learn more about techniques, tackle, and destinations at neangling.com. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Well, we're here today with Tim Norman, National Sales Manager for Spro and Gamakatsu, a great friend and a great supporter of our show.
Thanks, Andy. I'm just pumped to be here. I've never got to fish in New England, out of Connecticut, Long Island, the Sound. This is all brand new to me. I've never caught a fluke. I'm just really pumped to get on the water with you guys today. Northeast Angling, I watch you every week, but I've never got a chance to fish with you, and I'm excited.
Well, you're gonna enjoy this, Tim. It's a little bit different than what most people do. Like I said, we left out of Stamford, Connecticut this morning. We're gonna do a lot of light tackle bucktailing for fluke, and I mean light, which is nice. 10-pound test braided line, half-ounce, 3/4-ounce Spro jigs, and it's just a very exciting way to fish. And we're first week of August here, and this is when we really start to click with these fish.
Yeehaw. Atlanta, Georgia, Connecticut, here we go.
Let's do
All
it.
right, I'm gonna move us up on this piece.
Now, Tim, we're just pulling up to this spot, and pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to keep an eye on this machine. You can see we ran over some structure here. Right now we're in 42 feet of water. We got wind against tide, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull this boat in reverse with the tide. So we're going to set up right up on this high spot here. We're going to drift down this ledge, and we're going to see if we can pick a few fish.
One of the keys to fishing this way, especially with these light bucktails, is we got to make sure we keep our presentation as vertical as possible.
Most
So
definitely.
we're going to be running the motors
So I'm
almost the
gonna
whole
stay in
time.
contact with the bottom.
Yep.
All the time.
These are, like I said, I mean, I know you've seen fluke, but you haven't caught one. But these are, they're flat as can be. So I'm going to turn one motor off. We're going to keep one motor in gear. And what we're going to do now is we're going to put our baits down. I got this one baited already. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit the bottom, freeze it there, and a lot of tip motion on this rod. Keep that bucktail moving. And we're going to actually pull ourselves in reverse with the drift.
Okay.
So I'm going to just creep in here between you guys. Rich is going to be closest to the throttle, so I can get actually in front of you there, Rich.
If you want, that'd
Yeah, it
probably
might
be
be
better.
even
Why don't you go
better.
right
Let me
over the
scoop
top, man.
behind
And let's see what we can do here.
I'm going to spread out a little bit.
Hit bottom, Tim.
I'm there.
All right. Like I said, just a lot of tip motion. Keep that bucktail hopping on the bottom. Now like I said, we're in an area here where we got a decent amount of structure. So you're gonna lose a few rigs here every now and then.
Yeah.
But the other plus to that also, Tim, is you got a chance of getting maybe a nice sea bass, something like that. Some big porgies every now and then. So just keep that bucktail hopping. Oh, got a fish there.
Nice
Look
start,
at that.
Tim.
Not a bad start, buddy. Ooh, that's a good fish too, Tim. Slow down. Andy, where we got that
We'll
net?
get that net. I'm going to give Tim a second or so. You got it, Rich. You keep running the boat.
I got it.
I get my rig out.
Boy, don't you hate when it takes a long time,
Man.
Tim?
That looks like a decent fish.
That is a good fish. You can tell by the bend. Now,
So this is going to be your first fluke ever.
First fluke ever.
the whole key with this fishing also is steady, slow pressure on the fish. You don't want to horse him, nothing like that. Tim, this is a nice fish.
This is a
And
nice
when you
fish.
get
Judging
these
by
fish
the-
to the top, no need to lift the fish's head out of the water. You want to keep it just below the surface
About a
of the
foot
water.
under the surface, you're going to lead his head directly into the net. But like I said, out of all the fishing that we do here in the Western Sound, Long Island Sound, this is probably one of my favorites.
Rich, that took 15 seconds for me to get my first fluke. Is it always this easy?
Yeah, well, I wish it was. That's
That
a
is
nice
That is
fish.
giant
not a
fish.
bad fluke.
Lift.
That is a great start.
There we
Giant
go.
fish.
All right. Nice fish.
Good job.
Now, I got one thing I got to warn you, though. All right, this is not the largemouth bass you're used to. So
can't lip 'em?
These fish have teeth.
Oh,
so I don't want.
Well, how do you carry one?
We
if
can
you
let
can't
that.
lip it?
We can let that go, but I don't want to see you kiss it goodbye. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. That's a nice looking fish right there. Well, you know, Tim, we're sitting here. Like I said, we're fishing a little bit of structure. Fishing 32A. It's in the middle of the sound here. And that was a great way to start it off, that last fish, wasn't it?
Incredible bite. Thing just hammered it.
Oh,
Wow,
it-
he's got one.
it-
Oh!
Doubling up. Here we go.
You know what? Like one of the important things here is like we talked about is that straight up and down bucktail. You just stem the motor a little bit. My line was straight up and down and got hit. Tim, what's the secret on these bucktails? I know you guys really work hard on this.
Well, the finish on them, there's no more realistic finish on the market, and then it's got that Gamakatsu sticky sharp hook in it.
Yeah, well, one thing I will say is you guys with that bucktail pretty much revolutionized the way people fish bucktails now. You really have.
One really important thing, Rich, is our bucktails are designed when they're fished on the bottom like we're doing here,
Right.
they set parallel with the water.
You know,
They don't hang straight up and down like a traditional bucktail.
I know Andy's got a good fish on, and that's a decent fish, but that's a keeper, but we're going to let him go. Not too many people would do this with about an 18, 19-inch fish, but we'll do it.
Not much fish, but beautiful fish.
All right. Now that's a solid fish. You see how these fish hug the bottom? Andy, how you doing? You want
I
net
got
that
him.
one?
I'm just going to grab this one.
That's a nice
we're
fish.
releasing everything. It's a nice fish, but you
Okay.
know, we're releasing everything today. If we drop them both sides, it's a beautiful thing.
What I was talking about before, the teeth on these fish, boy,
Oh,
they
they're
will.
sharp.
Yeah. You know, people don't realize how much of a predator these fish really are. You know, I mean, these are some of the most aggressive fish you'll ever see.
I know I got aggressive bite.
Yeah. I want to let him go.
Rich, let's sip. We're sipping off the piece a little bit here. Yep. Let's get right back where we just caught those two fish.
I got my bucktail in the water, so let me get that.
I'm going to need some more bait.
Visit the Northeast Angling website at neangling.com for nationwide saltwater charter directory, fishing news, and free fishing reports. You can also find dozens of techniques, tips, and tackle for every saltwater species. Now let's get back to the action.
Well, we're here with Tim Norman, National Sales Manager, Spro and Gamakatsu, 32A, just off of Greenwich. And Tim, you got a little player there? One working yet?
I think I got one.
You know what's amazing with these fish, Tim? There you go. There you go.
I just got wrapped too right here.
That's what's amazing with these fish, Tim. They're usually very persistent too. So if you miss one, you could usually put that bucktail right back down and it'll come right back
just
to it.
felt heavy. I didn't feel anything, just got a little heavy.
Well, let me tell you one
Just
thing.
kind of lay on them sometimes.
One thing that any real fluke fisherman will tell you, the best feeling in the world when you're fluking is when you think you're stuck on the bottom.
Yeah, if you're in doubt, like you say it all the time, Rich, when you're in doubt, what do?
Set the hook.
Like I just didn't.
We got some waves coming through here.
This fish is not coming to the boat until it's ready.
Well, that's a good thing. That means it's a good fish.
There he is.
What you got there?
It's not bad. I can pass you guys over the net here.
Yeah, we could do that.
No,
Actually-
I can't. The net's behind you, Rich.
Actually, I'm gonna grab him, man. He don't look too bad.
Yeah, give me that rod. I'll be a two-handed
Tim,
defensive fisherman for a
normally
moment.
we would net these fish, but like I said, we're seeing some pretty good fish today, and this is definitely a keeper. This is a 19-inch fish, 19.5-inch fish.
Beautiful animal.
Size limit now where we are here in the Long Island Sound is 17.5 inches, 5 fish per angler, which, to be honest with you, makes for a nice plate of fish for dinner.
And an easy release.
More than enough fish.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So Tim, we got the chartreuse color here, and you know, obviously there's the pink, the white, and the whole bit, and we're really fond of these. How do you come up with these new colors?
Actually, we don't come up with them. SPRO is an acronym for sports professionals, and we use people like you and Captain Rich. We use Roland Martin. We use our sports pros, the guys that do it for a living, to tell us what colors to bring and what products we need to design.
Ah, so you know, it's not like you're sitting around the boardroom there,
There we go.
trying to come up with a product.
Absolutely not. And that's the only reason I'm out here with you guys today. I'm trying to learn your fishery and the products that you need and don't have.
Well, you've done a pretty good job learning our fishery so far.
Absolutely.
I got no problem with the chartreuse Spro I'm using now. No, but one thing I noticed also is like the variation of colors is incredible. I mean, how many different colors? I mean, and what I've never seen before, you guys came up with a bunker pattern for a bucktail also.
And that was
nice
just,
fish,
yeah, let me leave him in the
that's
water.
a nice fish.
Oh, hang on, let me turn him towards you. Let me turn him towards you. Head first. There we go. Beautiful.
There we
That'll
go.
work.
You know, and today you're using the chartreuse, and we like to use the chartreuse a lot of times. Oh,
Oh, he's got one
especially
on.
when,
Get that one out and I'll go help
especially when
him,
we're
Rich.
fishing with spearing, because it's got that greenish tinge, spearing, a lot of spearing and sand eels around. We like the chartreuse.
All right, Andy, whenever you get ready.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
you
take
know,
my time.
a lot
with
of times you notice these fish, they're feeding on baby flounder. That's when I like to use the white.
Yep.
When there's a lot of spearing and sand eels in the water, we'll use the green. That's a pretty fish right there. We'll use the green.
Here he comes, right
I
under
see
the
him.
water. Tim, get him.
Now let me ask you something.
Oh, right now. Oh, there
it.
we go. Oh, not
Tim,
bad.
I know you started catching these fish, but have you ever eaten these fish?
Something's on my rod, man.
Oh, you're bent. Sorry to
Come on, we
interrupt
gave
you
you
there.
net duty. You just like left me with this.
There you go, one on. The dead stick. One of the biggest ones always come on a dead stick too. Let's see what he's got here. But have you eaten these fish yet?
No, I haven't, but
Well,
I'm
you know
open.
What? This one's going in the well. We're gonna take this one
Good
back
deal.
with us, and you're gonna have this one for dinner tonight. Because this is a nice fish.
Guys, I'm clear of the net here, so if you need a net, I got you here.
I got him. I'll take care of that one.
These are all
This is a pretty good fish,
quality
guys.
fish.
Like I noticed, like I was saying before, the bunker pad, which Andy and I use a lot in the fall when we got a lot of peanut bunker around.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it's
That's a real unique color just
is.
for your fishery.
Here we
There
go.
he is.
Oh, nice fish.
That's a big fish.
That's good. Perfect. Whoa.
1, 2, 3, man. That's the way to go fishing.
Just christened me too, by the way. Thank you for that.
No problem.
You gave me a little tail slap right in the face.
Well, look,
Why don't
guys,
you
we
reach
got to
in and
get that
grab him?
fish off the net. We're going to bounce into this
Whoa,
buoy in a
whoa,
moment.
easy.
So let's,
Hey, what we were saying before about structure too. See the bottom of his tail? See the red marks?
Oh, yeah.
Turn him around, look at the white side. See the redness? That's from coming over all these rock piles and looking for trying
That
to
hard
ambush.
bottom.
Yep, that's exactly what that is. That one, you
Beautiful,
can let that one go
beautiful
if you
fish.
want. We
Beautiful
got-
fish. We'll catch you again.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a big one also, but we got one good one for dinner tonight anyway.
well, guys, let's, like I said, we're rolling into this buoy here. Let's move it up. I'm going to get this guy back in the water.
All right.
And we move on.
I might want to make that trip again. What do you think?
Yeah, one more
One more time.
Just tripled on it.
Oh, see?
Nice set.
All we needed was a little moving water.
And the tide turned around and finally started to move again. And all of a sudden, these fish are starting to feed. Now, I think they were here the whole time. It's just they weren't moving on that slack water.
Yeah, they'll just lay down there a lot of the times. You'll pick occasional one or two, but when that tide starts running, that's when they get hot.
And that looks like a pretty decent fish.
Rich, this is the biggest one I've caught today.
Oh, that is a good
Oh, that
fish.
is nice. All right.
I'm surprised you ain't got a
after
pair
this.
of lips. I'm surprised you ain't got a pair of lips on that fish after that set. I'm pretty
Wow.
impressed with that.
Nice fish.
Show me a little.
Very
Keep his head
solid.
under the surface. There you go.
And once again, the
Lift.
tide is very important in this kind of fishing.
Nice fish.
That's beautiful. We need a moving tide. Fish are going to pretty much bite and be a lot more active than they are on a standing tide.
I'm gonna help you with him, and you got him. You good, Tim?
And sometimes you got to be a little patient in some of the spots, and maybe you move a little east, a little west. Wow, Tim, that might be one more for the table.
Think we ought to eat that one, Rich?
I ain't turning it down.
You want to go to supper? Okay.
You know, we talked about this briefly before, Tim. It seems like you get that hard moving tide, these fish will turn on. You know, around here in the Sound, it seems like the further east you go, the worse you do on the moon, and the further west you go, the better you do on the moon. Because you get a lot more tide down in the west where you normally don't have a lot of tide.
And we're kind of midway here. We're not all the way down in the west. We're out a bit, about a bit, but there's certainly, we've moved to where we felt we could get enough current and really start catching these fish.
Now, I got a mark on where we caught that one. I say we go back up because we're cooking.
Yeah, and you know, he's out of the water. Take a look at my rig. Let's do it.
Yeah, take a move up. Good job, bud.
Thanks, man. Good day.
Visit the Northeast Angling YouTube channel for hundreds of videos, including full-length episodes, exciting clips, product reviews, and instructional videos. And now, the exciting conclusion of Northeast Angling.
Well, we're back here again with Tim Norman, Mr. Gamakatsu and Spro himself, doing a little fluking off of 32A, Long Island Sound. Andy just hooked into a good fish up in the bow there. You know, Tim, we were talking about these Spros and how many different things you can tip them with, you know? A lot of guys like to use squid. Now, Andy and myself, we prefer just spearing. And there's a good reason for that, Andy, right,
Well,
with
you
the
know,
spearing?
one thing is we do have a lot of spearing in the water, and that's what they're feeding on. And look at that. Wow, this guy's got that yellowtail thing going on there,
He looks
Rich.
like a nice fish, too.
He is a nice one.
Oh,
Let me get
look
the
at
net
how
for that
pretty
fish,
that
Andy.
is. You know, and we actually made a little stop here midday when the tide was slow. We got out onto a little beach. We seined up some really, really nice local spearing, and that's made quite a difference in this on our afternoon bite.
Lead them over, Andy.
Here we go, Rich.
That's a nice,
Oh, nice
fish. Yeah, it does. The spearing, local spearing does make a big difference. I mean, you could use sand eels and squid. The one thing I got a fish here, Andy.
I got the net.
Hopefully he stays with me. There he is.
There you go.
One thing about the, I might have dead weight here. I don't know what I got. I can't tell just yet. It doesn't feel, might have a boot, Tim.
Now, one thing about the spearing is it's a very effective bait. It's available in the local tackle shops. For the guys who are really daring, you can go get it yourself. But even frozen, it's very, very effective.
Well, if this is a fluke, it's lifeless.
Well, I'm going to get this guy back in the water while you wrangle with that.
I'm curious to see what this is. Unless he starts coming on, which he hasn't yet. This is very weird. I think I might have a dead line on the bottom, which you see a lot of also. This is a very popular spot for porgies. Yeah, I just came off of it. There it is, right there. Making a fishing rod out of the deal. Tim, we did this once, and I pulled a 4.5-pound fluke up on the end of the line. There was no rod on the other end, nothing like that. But we just pulled the dead line off the bottom. It's a good way to see what other people are using, too. It's also a good way to get it off the bottom.
I think I get the business end here, believe it or not.
You got more weight there
Back
than I
here,
do, that's for sure.
32A. Rich, you got one working there?
Yeah, got one on, Andy.
You know, the tide's turned around here. We're starting to get the current moving again. It's starting to happen.
Moving water's everything to this fishery, isn't it?
You know, it's so important. I mean, you can catch them on a dead tide when there's a lot of fish around, but for the most part, you always want that tide to be moving.
Oh, Rich, that's a nice fish.
That's not too bad.
No, that's
That's
enough.
not too shabby.
Not too bad, not too bad. You know, this is, one thing I noticed also, we talk about this a lot, Andy and I, you notice the bigger fish, they always come right at the change of the tide, or right at the end of the tide also. I mean, you can pick a good fish during the tide, but it seems like that real moose, you always get like the last maybe half hour of the incoming or outgoing.
Yeah,
It's like they wait till right near the end of the tide where it's easy for them to get a good meal, and then they just seem to turn on.
That's
Some
nice
people
fish.
may think this is simple, seeing us drop these bucktails down and catch these nice fish, but I watch you guys in your electronics, your boat maneuvering. It's very complicated to be on these fish when the water turns. That's not easy.
You know, for this type of fishing, you're right, it does. It can get a little complicated, but you know, in general, though, this is probably, right now, I would say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the most sought after recreational fish on Long Island right now.
You know, there's a lot of them around. You get in the right spots, a lot of fun. Anybody can catch these fish.
Yeah.
But in some spots like this, we're going for a little bigger fish. This takes a little bit more work.
I'm gonna eat that fish.
I'm gonna help you.
All right. I just tell them the way it is. I'm gonna eat that fish.
All right, guys, you know what? I want to slide us back onto that piece one more time.
All right.
And Tim, if you could just reel it up there, let's just drive right up onto that piece.
You got it.
We'll go over it again. I'm hoping, Rich, you didn't pull the only big fish that was on there off that piece.
Well, you know what, Andy, that's quick also. These fish very rarely swim alone, too. So, if there's one there should be more.
Everybody's in?
All good to go.
Looks like we're dropping back over that piece again one more
Oh,
time.
there's a touch.
Nice.
See that? Nope, hang on. He's laying on me. Ready? Here we go. There he is.
Nice.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
You know, he hit it the first time and he came right back for it.
Just before you got that, I had a couple of touches.
Did you have a
and I
touch
was
there?
trying to drop back. I think you caught my fish.
I can feel that cover down there. Coming
Yeah,
through.
we're on that structure again. You know, there you go, Andy. You know, I'll tell you, all in all, we had a pretty good day here. I'll tell you, we had a lot of fish. And, I mean, now, look at this. We're ending it with a double. This is perfect. What more could you ask for? You buy me, Andy?
Yeah, I got you a little bit there,
Rich.
Rich. I got you. Come on.
We're clear. Look at that set.
Nice.
3 on. Now, this could be the way to end it right here.
Nice, Rich.
That's not a bad fish at all right there. I'll take him. Get him out of the net, and I'll help you guys out if I can. There we
You're
go.
right there, Tim?
I'm gonna lay this
I got
rod
it.
down, Tim. I got a fluke flapping on your feet.
We're good.
This could be, if this is the last trip of the day, I think we ended it in style. What do you think, Tim?
Only way to do it, buddy.
You got your first fluke today. You're gonna eat
Second,
your
the
first.
third, the fourth, the
You're gonna,
fifth, the
and
sixth.
you're gonna eat your first fluke tonight. This is good. Andy, you up yet?
I'm close. There it is. I got color now.
How we doing? You want to swing it this way?
That's a pretty good fish here.
That's a
Rich.
nice fish, Andy.
Just
There
lip
we go.
hooked.
Nice fish.
Oh, that is good.
You know what? Look how deep that bucktail is in there too.
Wasn't losing this time.
He took that green spro, and look how deep he took that. Tim, how you making out?
Tim's making a career out
Not
of it.
up yet.
Tim might have the pool fish here. I don't
Here he
know.
comes. He's coming in.
You know,
was that?
guys, it's getting late. Caught a lot of fish today.
Yeah.
Tim, I hope you had a great learning experience here.
In the
It was a
water?
pleasure having you with us.
Thanks, buddy.
Another nice fish.
That's beautiful.
I'll tell you, you know, Long Island Sound, light tackle, fluking. I mean, this is the way to go. It really
and
is.
certainly the way to do it right. And I know you guys would love to be eating these, but I'm going to say
Thank you for watching Northeast Angling. You can learn more about techniques, tackle, and destinations as seen on this show at neangling.com. See you on the water.